Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Howell head hockey coach Rocky Johnson, getting ready for the upcoming season. Tryouts actually began yesterday. I know a lot of teams begin today. It's hockey season. How's it going?
Man, Casey, it's so great to have be on this. So thank you so much for inviting me on. And before we get started into this, it's hockey season, and I just want to let you know and your listeners know that we're super excited that you're a part of this. What you do for high school sports, especially high school hockey, at least from our standpoint, we appreciate it, and we look forward to another great season with you around and everybody else.
Absolutely, it should be fun. Let's talk about the season so far. We're in tryouts right now. But overall, how do you like what do you like about your team right now? Even though you really don't know, you haven't really formed it. Obviously, those decisions will be made in the next few days. But overall, what do you like about what you're seeing out of your team right now?
We have all of us coaches, we have a very strong summer with showcases every weekend. Flint and Chelsea and Northville had one. So we get to learn about a lot of the new kids. And, the fall is really big for that too. I know we don't participate, but we get to observe and note who's who. And, we had our first day yesterday. The old adage, you can't skate, you can't play. And so we did a lot of skating. We had a fantastic opportunity to have Kim Muir and her staff out to put the kids through the paces. So it's exciting. It's always exciting when something's new, right? It's shiny and it's metal and it's fun. But we got a lot of young kids, a lot of new kids into the program. As you know, we have the varsity in our JV team, which we call our development team. And, so we got a lot of good players, and we're super excited for what we have. I think we know what we have as a staff. We invite some people out to help us. Get some fresh eyes on folks that don't have maybe any kind of emotional attachment to the kids. And it was a really good night yesterday, going through the first day. And today's going to be another day. And it's a big day because today we will make some cuts to the program and then move forward Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
For sure. Obviously, I think you know who the big impact guys are going to be so far. So kind of talk about who is coming back and maybe some names to keep an eye on.
Well, it's funny that you say that. It's in a normal cases, there are a few. I mean, the last few years, we've obviously had some standouts that everybody recognized. This year is going to be a little different for the Howell Highlanders. We have a lot of young sophomores and juniors. I think that's going to be the large makeup of our team. We do have a few players coming back. I mean, you can always mention them. We have new goaltenders. We think we're going to be really solid there. But we've got a lot of young players. So to really have anybody stand out, I think we're not sure yet. We can talk about the players that are returning. We do have a couple of seniors returning that we're looking forward to. One in particular, Hayden Sturos, who should take on a strong leadership role. We have a Jalen Del Toro, who is going to be a junior, but he's been with the program now for 3 years. It's his third year as a varsity player. We expect a lot of things. And then there's a whole list of them that we could go through. But I think right now, our defensive core should be pretty good. We're young, Casey. We're really young.
Yeah. So going into what these next few days, what do you kind of want as you kind of make the decisions about putting the final pieces together with your team? What do you go through as a coach to kind of say, maybe this guy's good, maybe this guy's not, and what's that process like? Kind of describe it for people that might not know.
No, for sure. And everybody does it differently. I mean, all coaches go through what they go through, but I think at the end of the day, we're looking at players who can compete. We talk about effort and attitude in our program all the time. I know you've heard me say that a lot. And it really does. I mean, skill is skill. You have to have the skill to play. But if you don't have the effort, you don't have a good attitude, it really kind of ruins the room. And so those dynamics are important. We want skilled players. We want fast players. We want players that'll listen, that are coachable. And those are kind of the things we look for. I mean, we don't want lazy players. We don't want entitled players. We talk about that all the time in our program, at least, that just because you were on our team last year or the year before, or you're a senior or a junior or an incoming freshman, none of that guarantees you anything in Howell at all. It never will, because that's just not what life is. Right. And so we talk about that a lot. And, there's obvious players we know, we trust because we've seen them in action. We know what they can do, and we hope they get better. And then there's some new players that we're not sure about yet. But again, it comes back to their effort and their attitude, and then controlling what they can control. I mean, I know they're all catch phrases, but we actually really we really look for that. We don't want entitlement. We want you to work hard.
Yeah. Talk about some of the guys that, yeah, I know you mentioned a few of them, but overall, kind of mention some names that people can recognize so far, but who are going to be some familiar faces that are going to be back for you guys.
I mean, it's off the top of my head. I wish I had the list in front of me to prepare for this, but we have some players coming back. Like I said, Hayden Sturos, Jalen Del Toro. We have our defensive core that's coming back. We have Landon Swatala. We've got Connor Hewlett. We expect a lot out of him. Dominic Giordano's changing positions and coming back as a defenseman. We expect a lot out of that. And we have a few forwards coming back, some seniors that we hope can add to what we're trying to bring. But overall, we're really, a lot of our kids are promoted through our development program. We have a Jack Staywork goaltender. We're looking for great things out of Jack. We have Alex Hurt is coming off of a travel team to support and push him. So those two will compete for a starting job to backfill Ian Badgett, which, that's a difficult thing for any team. But, rather than going there's a lot of names I just mentioned, but like I said, we probably have 14 or 15 incoming players that weren't with us last year. So it's kind of a new deal for Howell Highlanders. We just changed our colors. I don't know if you were aware. We went back to the original colors, which I call the Green Bay Packer gold and green. Yeah. And so we're kind of getting rid of the Vegas gold and going with the old look. That's now the new look. So we're kind of excited about that. And we got all new kids. So I think we're going to come out and really have some fun.
Yeah, it's of course behind you there. It's kind of like jersey behind you. Is that what the uniforms are going to kind of look like?
That's the color scheme, right? That new gold and the green, and yeah, we're going to change up a lot. I mean, some of the players aren't aware what they are. They'll know these green ones. These will be our away jerseys, and we'll do those for our scrimmage, and then we'll take our team pictures in those. But we're holding some of the back to surprise some people, and I think we're going to come out and excite people. I hope.
Yeah, it's always exciting. Anytime that, in between in really in Livingston County, I mean, there's a reason why Bill Kahn and Tim Eric are probably going to blow the hockey budget, covering all, this is fun time between Brighton, Howell, and Heartland, and then maybe the rest of the KLAA. Especially just here in the county, it's been a hotbed the last few weeks. Of course, the titles that Brighton won. Of course, Heartland's coming off a title. You guys have been close to get there. Of course, you made the Final Four a few years ago. But overall, it's just been this county is just fun to watch.
Well, we could talk about the KLAA, which obviously I'm going to argue is the most difficult conference in the state. You can argue the MIHL with the Catholic schools. Totally great argument. You could talk about up in the UP with Calumet and those folks. Yeah. Great hockey, great coaches, great people. But, I got to be partial to KLAA. I mean, if you look at the recent history, there tends to be a KLAA team that's pushing for that Final Four every year. And let's be honest, the Livingston County is a tough place. Like you say, you got Brighton, one of the best teams in the state over the last 20 years. You've got Heartland now, the last 10 years are just crushing it. And then, we come up a little bit below that perhaps at times, but we're pushing hard. And, that's a bear for the three teams to compete against, especially this year with the new rules for Division I and how they're choosing divisions based on school population. And so now you're going to have Heartland and Howell and Brighton beating up each other to get into that Final Four. And, it's exciting. It's good. We're all close friends, Kurt and Ricky and I, and, we care about these kids, but it's a hotbed for hockey, to your point, and it's exciting.
Yeah, it is. I've been at Heartland Howell games. I've been at Brighton and I've been at Brighton Howell games. I've been at Brighton Heartland games. Those are exciting. But when you look at the league so far, there's also you got Novi, you got Northville. I know there's going to be some new coaches in the league. Of course, Ryan is heading from Salem all the way from Northville to take over for Gordy. Lots of new coaches. Brian Dallas is in the league this year. Of course, another coach that with a lot of success. And then we got Jake Seeley out in Salem. We got some solid coaches in this league.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mentioned the Livingston County teams by name, obviously, because I'm in Livingston County and I'm partial to obviously how close our youth programs are. I mean, we can talk about, KV youth programs. We can talk about, the 140 Ice Den where we're at. I mean, what a great place. The owner there has done a great job with our rink and trying to promote the youth hockey there. So I'm a little partial to that, obviously, but you can't sleep on a Stevenson or a Churchill, a Franklin, or Salem or Plymouth. I mean,
Can't-
the list, Northville, Novi, the list goes on. It's just, I mean, it's great hockey. Canton, my goodness, I forgot. How could I forget Justin?
Yeah, Justin will be on actually tomorrow, so it'll be
Oh, great. Yeah, good. He'll be mad at me now that I didn't say anything.
But you talk about that. This can be some tough. This is gonna be some tough hockey because you mentioned it. Of course, the division changes. Of course, Heartland's now in D1. That's gonna. How do you think that's gonna really impact things? Because it's going to impact things a lot because it looks like you three are probably going to be in the same district or region.
Well, so what I learned, about the regions, the region that we're in is with Heartland, and Heartland is hosting that at their rink. So the regional championship goes through the Heartland Arena. Hopefully, both Heartland and us are in it. That would be a great event. Obviously, Brighton's in a different region, but Brighton could collide with Stevenson perhaps in the state quarterfinals. Depending on if we can even get through Heartland. I mean, they're just loaded, right? Heartland and Brighton, they're just loaded, two teams. But if you look at it and we can get there, and I think, as long as the head coach of Howell doesn't get in the way, I think we could probably, have an opportunity. But, you look at it and two of all three of us could be in the Final Four in Plymouth. And that's always the goal, is to get to USA Hockey Arena and then do some damage there. So, two of the three of us could be there. So it's kind of exciting. And again, I'm not dismissing any of the other teams. I'm just partial to my home area and looking at, Heartland, Howell, and Brighton.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be something there. So kind of talk about what after tryouts, what's the schedule going to kind of look like, kind of preview what the early part of the season. Where are we gonna see the Highlanders at?
Right. So that's a great question. I think we have a lot of speed up front, and I think we have some really good skilled players up front. So we'll be a full team. We have enough numbers that we're going to be full with lots of players. So we'll be speed up front. I think we're going to try to utilize that the best we can. We're going to have to do overall team D because our team D is young. And our goaltending is new, but I think they're going to shine. So I think it's going to be an overall team defense type game and add in a lot of speed on the offensive zone. I think that's what we're going to try to do and put pucks in the net. But, anytime you start off with KLA games, which we do, or playing, it's hard. We start off with Franklin at Franklin. I mean, that's not an easy place to play at Eddie Edgar and meeting up with them. And they do a great job. And and then we get a Novi at home, our first game with Novi at home, which we're excited about. Like I said, Joe Riccardi at the rink has done a great job, and it's a tough place for teams that come into play. So we have them coming up and at first home game, and then we have Celine. We appreciate Z for coming up and playing us. So we'll have Celine. They just membered us this summer, so that's going to be a difficult game. And then we invite Flint Powers in. Powers Catholic comes in and they didn't lose anything. They're strong. So that's going to be our, a major test like every other game is. So, I think the first part of the season, it's going to be a learning curve. I think we'll come out with speed. We'll make some changes and, we'll build and build and build until we get, after the new year and look towards March. But, it's tough. Every game we face is tough.
Yeah. Also, I'm not sure if you know this right offhand, but Brighton and when are you guys playing Brighton and Heartland?
So if I'm correct, and again, I'm not looking at this, our game with Brighton is our last game of 2022. So it's in December. And I can't off the top of my head. I'm sorry. I guess I should know that. But I'm right now looking at Franklin. They're my focus right now. So Livonia Franklin, which is our first game at their place in Eddie Edgar. But we play, I want to say it might be the 18th, 17th, 16th, 18th of December, but it's going to be that last game of December with Brighton at our place. Thank goodness. We're going to need all the help we can get. They're stacked. I know that Kurt's done a great job bringing in some players. So they'll be exciting to watch and play against. And so that'll be our first game against them would be on that game. Actually, our only game for the season. And then we play Heartland, I think the second week, I think on a Wednesday in January.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be our second or third game in January, I believe.
Yeah. Well,
and it's at our place again, which helps.
I just pulled up the schedule. You guys got Brighton on December 17th, and then you guys second week in January. Yep. The 11th at in Heartland. So
But actually, it's at our place.
yeah, the Ice Den. Or
The
it's
ice den, I'm telling you, I mean, that is a huge benefit for us to come out and play in that arena. Like I said, I mean, the ownership there has done such a great job making that place as nice as it can be. I mean, it's a low ceiling, tough place to come in, and it's hard on other teams. So any benefit we can get, we need, especially against powerhouses like Brighton and Heartland. So we're excited. I mean, Ricky and I joke, you know, we were able to be successful last year in overtime against them in their barn. So, you know, it's not, hopefully we can do it again. I don't know. We'll see. They're, again, a very extremely good team. So,
yeah, that's for sure. One thing's for sure, you know, you're going to see Bill Kahn and Tim Eric there. I know that for a fact.
well, I would imagine they do. They cover it. They do a great job, you know. So we just love all you guys around. It's so good for these kids. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's the best time of their lives.
Yeah, it
Casey,
is.
right? And I think that's the best part.
Yeah, for sure it is. All right. Well, Rocky Johnson, thank you so much for taking some time to talk. We will talk to you later on in the year, and we'll look forward to your first game at Franklin. I know you got Troy. I know you have you guys got your scrimmage on the 12th, but season starts off for you November 16th at Livonia Franklin. So that'll be fun. All right.
Livonia, Eddie Edgar, it's going to be a big game. They do a great job. So we're looking forward to it. And I thank you for having me on. I thank you for what you do for these kids. We're excited about it. And, you know, cross our fingers, we make the right decisions and we have some fun.
All right.